and welcome back to Alice Talks Football, and welcome back to another live Manchester United news and latest transfer news update show. Lots and lots of things to talk about. Casemiro, Antony, De Jong are the three names that we've been linked to today. There's João Felix news, there's Moises Caicedo news, there's Pulisic news, there's Cody Gakpo news. There's a lot of news. And my first thing before I even get into the news and all of that is Casemiro is looking very likely to happen. I'd be very shocked if it doesn't happen, considering that reports coming out from Spain and very good sources in Spain have now said he's agreed to join United and that United's set to do this deal in the next 24 hours. And look, I'm happy with the Casemiro deal, one of the best DMs in the world. Are we overpaying? Yes. Is he past his best? Yes. But you know what? He's going to be a massive improvement to this team. But before I get into the Casemiro news, I want to talk about a really important topic, and this is Glazers out. Obviously, I did a short video last night explaining the situation with Jim Ratcliffe, explaining what's going on, what it's going to take to get the Glazers out, and all of that. And I quickly want to address this situation while the sign comes up to say my Wi-Fi is being shit already 1 minute into the stream. Are we buffering 1 minute? What is wrong with my internet, man? What is wrong with my internet? But continuing on. The Glazers, okay, Jim Ratcliffe. I want to quickly talk about this. There's a reason why Man United are apparently putting in £100 million bids for João Felix. There's a reason why apparently we're going back in for Antony. There's a reason why we're dropping 60 million on Casemiro and doubling his wages. And this is because the Glazers are scared. There is a buyer out there for Manchester United, and the Glazers do not want to sell Man United because every year it's their cash cow. Take out dividends, take out dividends, take out dividends. It's their cash cow. And if there's ever a time for the Glazers to sell Manchester United, it is now. We've got a buyer. We need to drive the Glazers to sell. So I tell every fan, it doesn't matter if we win our next 10 games. It doesn't matter if we spend 200 million. Do not turn your mind on the Glazers. Continue to be Glazers out. Stay with the Glazers out movement even when we're winning. Stay with the Glazers out movement even when we're buying players. Because we now have a buyer. And the Glazers want to temporarily please us by buying Casemiro, buying Antony, buying João Felix to shut us up. Because more negative attention is on the Glazers than ever. You've got Sky Sports calling them out, BT Sports calling them out, even Elon Musk sort of saying he'd buy United, which gives the Glazers, again, negative attention. You know, all these leaks about Ronaldo that are fake, it's because the Glazers are trying to divert the negative attention away from them and try and get the fans to turn on Ronaldo. The Glazers are doing everything in their power to stop people turning on them. The stocks will go down. We need to turn on the Glazers. Do not buy shirts, boycott games, do whatever we can. And I'm saying this seriously, guys, because we have a buyer. Jim Ratcliffe is willing to buy United, and he's a buyer that would take us to where we need to be. But Man United's not for sale. And we need to push the Glazers into putting United for sale. And they're crumbling. The pressure is on. Look at the news coming out. Look at the PR spins coming out. Tell me a period when there's ever been this much news about United. Never. In the space of 24 hours, apparently we were going for Cunha. Apparently we then went for Morata. Apparently then we went and put 100 million on João Felix. Apparently we're backing for Antony. Apparently we're getting Pulisic. Apparently we're getting Milinkovic-Savic. Apparently we're getting De Jong. Apparently we're getting Casemiro. Apparently we're going in for Caiceido. Tell me a period where we've been linked to more players and more big name players than before. No, it's the media spin. It's the PR spin. Because the pressure is on the Glazers. They're at it, trying to divert our attention away from them. So remember, there's a protest on Monday, 7 o'clock. Manchester United versus Liverpool protest, war empty Old Trafford. Remember that. Do not go in your Man United shirts you bought from the mega store. Go in your Glaze. Don't go in that. Go in your Glaze out. But I'm telling you this now. There's a buyer for United. The media is talking about the Glazers out. The Glazers out movement is going. And the Glazers, all this media coming out about Ronaldo being an enemy and the Glazers spending money. It's because they are getting worried. And they do not want to sell the club. And the Glazers never want to sell United because we are their cash cow. We need to drive them out the club, drop the value of the club, and it might have to get worse before it gets better. But I'm saying this to you guys as a fan base. Like, it doesn't matter if we sign Casemiro and win our next 10 games. We need to continue Glazers out because there will be someone there to buy the club. And the Glazers now publicly know someone's willing to buy the club. We need to drive them into selling the club. They're selling minor stakes because they're in trouble. They're getting scared. They're doing this is the best time to get them out. And I will continue to say that as well. I do want to get into the Casemiro news. Casemiro has destroyed Liverpool's midfield. Look, for those saying Casemiro still has 3 years left on his contract at Real Madrid, so not after a new contract. Exactly. Casemiro is willing to move to United because he's won it all at Madrid and would like a change. And obviously we are giving a fat fucking wage, and look, money talks. But I will say this regarding Casemiro. I do want to get into the news. I think we are going to get Casemiro. I am more confident on Man United getting Casemiro than De Jong, but I think anyone will say that now. My eye really hurts, so I'm sorry, I'm not twitching my eye. Look, Casemiro is 30, okay? But he is a world-class DM. If we'd have signed him 2 years ago, brilliant. We are signing him past his best, but there are a few years left in his legs. 60 million, massively overpaying. We're not getting him at his best, but Casemiro instantly improves this team. Like, I mean, any DM in the world would probably improve this team, but Casemiro is a player that comes in and he does take that team to a next level. Him and Fred do look really good for Brazil together. I will say this. Casemiro improves our defensive problems and our problems off the ball. I wouldn't say Casemiro necessarily improves our problems on the ball. We still can't break lines in midfield. We're still missing a progressive passer in midfield. Best case scenario is we get Casemiro and De Jong, but David Ornstein said, look, Casemiro happening means De Jong probably ain't happening. I really hope we get Casemiro and De Jong, but Casemiro instantly improves our problems out of possession. We just now need a second midfielder to come in and improve our problems in possession. But I do want to get into the midfield news and all of that as well. It's come out from very, very good, reliable sources around Real Madrid that Casemiro has agreed to join United. Casemiro does want to join United and all of that. Thank you very much for the super sticker. Really appreciate the support, mate. Thank you very much for that as well. And Casemiro plus Fred will hopefully work. I'll be there Monday losing my voice, says Rob. Yeah, if you can get there on Monday, please do. Please do. Make everything known. Empty Old Trafford as well. You have a world class now, and the future is Moises Caicedo. Thousands of Man United fans in Ecuador. Hopefully, we get Casemiro and Moises Caicedo in as well. I will talk about the Moises Caicedo news, but I wanted to show you this, didn't I? So Casemiro has reportedly agreed to join Man United, and this has come out from multiple reliable sources. Justin, Casemiro to Manchester United is very advanced as the player does want to join the club. Personal terms are not agreed, but apparently there is a verbal agreement that Casemiro wants to join the club. It's being reported that Manchester United are moving closer to signing Casemiro from Real Madrid, and then the focus will be on a new forward, a backup keeper, plus a right back if Wan-Bissaka rejoins Crystal Palace. But it's coming out from Mohamed Basfini, who is a very, very, very good journalist, that Casemiro wants to join United. And this guy is a tier 1. This guy is one of them good journalists. Like, I'm talking real good journalists. And he's just said now, just in, that Casemiro wants to join United. But let me get into all the Casemiro news. Then we'll talk Glazers out. Then we'll talk De Jong. Then we'll talk Antony. Then we'll talk CAICEDO. Then we'll talk Pulisic. Chelsea could go for Casemiro before we know it, honestly. At least Casemiro is better than McTominay. Exactly. And Casemiro is one of the best progressive passers in this position. Is he? I've never really seen Casemiro in possession. It's more out of possession, I think his strength is. But I only watch Real Madrid in the Champions League and the odd El Clasico. So I'm not an expert. I'm not going to say that. So it came out from Spain today, and this is all the news. I'm going to quick fire through all the news, get into the live chat, discuss it, discuss what's happening, discuss the other news. So let me quick fire through all the news. These are all tier 1 and 2 sources. I'm not going to read out what tier 3 and tier 4 sources and wannabe ITKs and ITKs are saying. I'm just going to be reading out what credible sources have said about Casemiro. Justin, Casemiro to Manchester United has advanced. The player wants to join United. Matteo Moretta said Casemiro to Man United is very hot, and he's already told his teammates he's thinking about leaving and he's inclined to accept the Man United offer. Alex Crook, who goes on TalkSport a lot, tier 1 journalist, says that Manchester United are readying a formal bid now for Casemiro because they've got indication that Casemiro does want to join the club. Jason Burt of The Telegraph, again another tier 1 journalist, said Manchester United are closing in on signing Casemiro and are confident of completing a deal for the Real Madrid midfielder in the next few days. Fabrizio Romano said that Casemiro is now having conversations with Carlo Ancelotti, which will happen in the next hours, to discuss his future, as Manchester United's contract proposal has tempted Casemiro to join United, says Fabrizio Romano. It's also coming from Relibale, very good Spanish source, that Casemiro is inclined to accept the proposal from United, saying that Casemiro is going to agree and accept Man United's proposal. And Simon Stone, top tier journalist, says Manchester United have made an approach to sign Casemiro in a deal that will be worth around 70 million euros, 59 million pounds as in the title. And Relibale said that Manchester United have offered 60 million euros, which is 51 million pounds, but Real Madrid wants 67 million pounds, which is 80 million euros. But Man United and Real Madrid will agree to meet in the middle in a 59 million euro deal, which is exactly what Simon Stone is saying. So two top journalists are saying that Casemiro will join United in a 59 million deal in the coming days, and that Real Madrid, according to Cope, will not stand in Casemiro's way, and the decision is going to be made either today or tomorrow, because Manchester United want Casemiro. for Saturday. Simon Stone said that Casemiro would be one of Manchester United's top earners if he decides to join United, and United's contract offer to him could extend to 2027 with an option to add on one more year, which Casemiro finds it tempting as well. Simon Stone, chop journalist, also says Real Madrid will let Casemiro go, and Casemiro looks like he's going to accept Manchester United's offer. And David Ornstein, we all know who David Ornstein is, one of the best journalists out there, says a deal between United and Real Madrid for Casemiro is progressing fast. And David Ornstein said that Manchester United's key focus this summer window is now closing the signing of Casemiro. And David Ornstein has said Casemiro has given positive indications of his desire to leave Manchester United. So this is massive news, because David Ornstein's saying here that, you know, Casemiro has given positive indications of his desire to join Manchester United. So crazy news coming in there, guys, about Casemiro. Casemiro will definitely make an impact on United as well. I've got even more news to get into as well. I don't care about signings, just want those shitty Glazers out of the club. I mean, look, I feel like that as well. If us not signing anyone else this window meant the Glazers would leave, I'd let the Glazers leave. Big up Pat for joining the members club. Always appreciated, mate. Appreciate the support. Let me just get into the next few stories. Mate, I believe Casemiro will happen, because unlike Rabiot and unlike De Jong, we've been told from Ornstein, Simon Stone, and all these reliable Spanish sources that Casemiro is open to joining United. So that's why I believe it will happen. David Ornstein also said that a Man United delegation travelled to Madrid earlier this week for talks. At present, there is no agreement just yet, but talks are advancing, and United would be unlikely to be dedicating so much time to a move if they did not think it was achievable. This is regarding United and Casemiro, saying, well, I've gone over to Madrid, not Murta, just people there. And that Casemiro is one of Real Madrid's best placed squad members, and Manchester United are believed to be making a competitive offer, including significant performance-related incentives, which would put him among the top earners. And David Ornstein says that Man United are known to be attracted to Casemiro's character and professionalism, as well as his elite pedigree as a defensive midfielder. He is said to be a huge professional, challenging in adding in the Premier League to his already glittering personal resume. So apparently Casemiro wants to win the Premier League. Mate, go to Man City if you want that. But that's also said by Ornstein. And Ornstein said that sources insist that Casemiro has been among Man United's main targets, but they've recently stepped up their interest in him due to their chances of signing Frankie de Jong slimming. And that David Ornstein did say regarding Frankie de Jong, the door does remain open for Manchester United to sign Frankie de Jong, but it will seem less probable if we do get Casemiro in. And that the coaching staff according to Tier 1 reports in Spain, the coaching staff at Real Madrid say that Casemiro will leave, and that Casemiro has confessed to his trusted circle and people in the locker room that he will be going to Manchester this summer. And it's also said that Casemiro, lots of Spanish sources saying that Casemiro will be going to Manchester United, but it will be for around a fee of 60 million euros, and that Casemiro's future is set to be resolved in the next 24 to 48 hours, and Manchester United have offered him a contract that he cannot reject, and that Man United reportedly want Casemiro to play against Liverpool. So lots and lots of news coming in as well. Get the Glazers gone. Honestly, get the Glazers gone. Smash the like button, guys, if your Glazers out, and of course subscribe down below if you're new. Who is better, Casemiro or De Jong? This is the thing. De Jong's who Ten Hag wants, and De Jong is probably an all-round better investment because of his age and what he can do on the ball. But De Jong's not a 6 and Casemiro is, and I think Casemiro at the start of the window, before we even linked to De Jong, is more what I'd say we'd need. So, I would say that as well. How many main objectives now have we heard from Frankie to Rabiot? Yeah, I mean, look, the Casemiro, the thing is, with the Rabiot Frankie de Jong thing, that was because we couldn't convince Rabiot and Frankie de Jong to join. The difference between this Casemiro story and the Rabiot stories and the de Jong stories is that apparently Casemiro will come to United as well. Casemiro not playing much behind Camavinga and Tchouaméni, which is another incentive for him to go to United. And apparently, it's not about the wages for Casemiro. It's because he might not be the first player in that position anymore at Real Madrid because of all the people they've brought him. I agree, Casemiro is a panic buy. I think he's very different to De Jong, and I find it hard to believe that Eric Ten Hag, as soon as he misses out on De Jong, goes that Casemiro is who I want, considering they're such a different profile. I'd like Casemiro to join United. It's come out that Casemiro wants to join United and a financial agreement needs to be found, and I really would like Casemiro to join United. But let's actually get to the point here. Look, I think this deal's going to happen. I think, I'd be shocked if it doesn't happen now. But let's get to the point here. This is a panic buy. This is the Glazers trying to shut some fans up. This is the Glazers trying to please. Because John Murta, who needs to be sacked, and Richard Arnold, who needs to be sacked. spent 14 weeks trying to sign Frankie fucking de Jong. 14 weeks trying to sign de Jong to now panicking and going Casemiro as a sackable offence. But United know if you sign Casemiro, you sign a good player. And United are signing Casemiro not because they're backing Ten Hag. I don't think, if I'm being honest with you guys, listen to this. I don't think Casemiro is a Ten Hag signing. I don't think Ten Hag is bothered about us signing Casemiro or not. I really don't. I think Man United have fucked up de Jong. Ronaldo made such a mess. So much pressure's on the Glazers. The Glazers are like, shit, we've got to do something to please the fans. Rather than going to Ten Hag and saying, who do you want? Now you can't get de Jong. We'll get whoever you want. The United board go, Casemiro is a massive name. If we sign Casemiro, it's probably going to please some of the fans. Let's do that. James Robson said that United are very confident that they will sign Casemiro, who's expected to cost £60 million. So United saying they're going to sign Casemiro, and reports are coming out that Casemiro has agreed to join Manchester United from Tier 1 sources as well. But yeah, look, I'm going to be honest with you. I like Casemiro. He's a brilliant player. We're overpaying for him. He is past it. He's a good player. But this is the Glazers. And I'm saying this now, and I will continue to say this. So much pressure is on the Glazers to sell Manchester United. More pressure than ever. That they don't want to sell United. If the Glazers were going to sell United, they wouldn't be spending money. They don't want to sell United, but they might be in a position where they could be forced into selling United. And now Jim Ratcliffe, and this is massive, now Jim Ratcliffe has gone public about wanting to buy Manchester United. There's an incentive from the fans to be like, now they can sell. We have a buyer. Manchester United have a buyer. That's brilliant. Jim Ratcliffe wants to buy United, but they don't want to sell the club. But now we found that we've got a good buyer that would invest in the club and do the right things for the club if they did buy the club. This gives us fans more motivation to push the Glazers over the line to sell the club. So fans, I'm telling you this now, United fans, do what you need to do to get the Glazers out. Let's affect all of their businesses, not just Manchester United. Do whatever it takes to mean they're going to get less money across all of their businesses, across all of the Glazer families. There's things that we can do, lots of things we can do that won't just affect United, it will affect the other businesses, and that's what we need to keep doing. Because now there's a buyer, the Glazers know they can sell the club. They know they can sell the club, and they don't want to sell the club. Why would they if they can take 12, 20 million a year out in dividends? Why would you sell somewhere where you don't have to take a penny a year and you do fuck all and you can take 20 million out each year? Why would you? You see, they wouldn't. But we need to push and push and push for them to sell the club. Push and push and push for them to cave in and sell the club. So I don't care if we could sign Casemiro, de Jong and Antony and spend 200 million, and that doesn't matter to me. We still need to push for the Glazers to go out. Every fan, even if we do sign de Jong, even if we do sign Casemiro, continue the Glazers out message. Because the reason we're chucking all this money at Casemiro, is because of the pressure on the Glazers. I tell you this now, if we'd have won our first 2 games of the season, everything was all smiling, there wasn't a Glazers out protest about to happen, we wouldn't be chucking this money on Casemiro. The reason we're getting told that we've put a £100 million bid down for João Felix, the reason we're getting told that United are going back in for Antony is because the Glazers are trying to spin the media, because the Glazers know there's going to be a massive protest on Monday. It's not going to be looking good for them, and they want to do everything in their hands to make us less angry by Monday. I'll tell you this now, the Glazers can sign players quick when they want. They're going to get Casemiro in before Monday. They're going to get Casemiro in before Monday, before that Liverpool game, because if we go on to the Liverpool game with no signings off the back of 4-0 to Brentford, it's going to be chaos. They think if they sign Casemiro, the process at the Liverpool game will be less chaos. The reason we are signing players and the reason we're moving this fast on Casemiro, because Man United never moved this fast to sign players, is because they're desperate to sign a big name before Monday, because they know there's a protest going on and the pressure is on them. And I'm telling you this now, that the fact that they're selling a minor stake, the fact that they're spinning all the media, the fact that they're desperately trying to buy someone before Liverpool is because they don't want to sell, but the amount of pressure from the fans on them to sell, and now that Jim Ratcliffe has gone public and now Elon Musk is tweeting and trolling, has put the pressure on the Glazers like never before. They're probably under more pressure than they were when the Super League was about, because at least when the Super League was about, we were actually quite good at the time. They're probably under more pressure than ever to sell the club. You've got the media talking about how bad the ownership is. The media, Sky Sports, BBC, you never get involved with talking about it. Elon Musk saying he's going to buy United. I know he's not talking about the ownership, but the fact that he's even saying that gives them attention. The fact that Jim Ratcliffe has gone public about buying United, they're under so much pressure. And you know, we need to continue this pressure, because if there's a time for them to sell, it's going to be now. But they're not going to want to sell, and we have to continue these protests. We have to make sure their businesses go down, and we have to do whatever it takes to try and get them to sell the club. Because I tell you this now, we will never be a top team with the Glazers in charge of Man United. And if it takes us getting into a massive mess and losing a load more games to get the Glazers out, so be it. Short-term pain for long-term gain. I say this now. So there's a protest on Monday. Thank you very much, Rob, for the super chat as well. Really appreciate the support there, Rob. Keep up the protest every single home match until the Glazers are gone. Sir Jim in. Exactly. Big up, Rob, there with the super chat. Antony or Gakpo, who are we getting? We're apparently back in for Antony, but I don't think we will get Antony. I think it's all a PR spin. I think the news that Man United are back in for Antony is all a massive, massive PR spin, if I'm being 100% honest with you guys. I think it's all a massive PR spin. I think they're trying to I think because of the protest on Monday, Man United, look at the media. There is more stories that have come out since we've lost to Brentford. More news has come out in the 4 days since we lost to Brentford than it has in the last 2 weeks. More news in the last 4 days since we lost to Brentford than the last 2 weeks, because the Glazers are doing everything in their power to use and manipulate the media to try and drag the fans' attention away from them, because they know there's a protest Monday. So you're hearing we're backing for Antony, you're hearing 100 million on João Felix, you're hearing Casemiro, you're hearing De Jong, you're hearing all of this news. But you're also hearing 1,000 stories about Ronaldo being bad. They want to turn the fans on Ronaldo, and they want to bring in a big player for Monday, so we're less angry for the protest against Liverpool. That's what they're doing. There wasn't a protest on Monday. If we didn't lose 4-0 to Brentford, they would not be doing this. But now Jim Ratcliffe has said at the best time, he wants to buy United. So not only was a lot of pressure on the Glazers, but now people are saying they want to buy the club, you know, and now they're having to sell a minor stake. Now they're looking for fucking investors in the club, because they know their time could be up. They know their time could be up. But the only people that can make them sell is us. We've got a buyer. Doesn't mean they're going to sell. It is us. So we want to do what we need to do to make them sell. And I'm telling you this now. Apparently United are in for Antony. Romano said that United are going back in for Antony and all of that. But look, I'm being honest with you guys. It is 100% a PR spin from United. 100% a PR spin. Someone said Maguire must be dropped. Reportedly, Ten Hag is going to drop Maguire and start Rafa Varane. The owners could spend 300 million. I don't give a shit. Exactly. They could spend 300 million and we could win the league, and I'd still be Glazers out, you know, because it would be short-term, a distraction as well. Ratcliffe is the perfect pedigree for Man United, and reportedly he only went in for Chelsea to show United that he has the money to buy the club. Ratcliffe is a United fan and would bring United back to the top. And it's the only reason they want Casemiro to join Saturday is because it will be his debut versus Liverpool and to stop the protest. Exactly. What are your thoughts on Casemiro to United? Do let me know down below. Casemiro's not signed yet, but I think he's about to sign. Casemiro, De Jong, Antony, Gakpo, Dest. I mean, look, if we sign those players, absolutely brilliant. Reportedly, Man United are now going to sign 5 players with 2 midfielders, 1 attacker, a right back, and a backup goalie coming in. I doubt that's going to happen. But that's what they're saying to the media. And green and gold until the club is sold. And Saeed says, "Hi, Alice, admire your passion towards the club. I hope the Glazers and their little cats, Arnold and Murta, get out together." I tell you this now. How has John Murta not been sacked? I'm sorry. I'm glad we didn't sign Rabiot. But imagine flying to Turin, being publicly pictured to try and close a deal for Adrian Rabiot, and still not being able to sign a player, Adrian Rabiot, and still not trying to get that deal complete. He's flown to Barcelona to try and get De Jong done and been pictured. Him and Arnold went to Barcelona to get De Jong done, were pictured. We ain't got De Jong. They then went to Turin to try and finalise the deal for Rabiot. They ain't got Rabiot. It's actually embarrassing. It's actually embarrassing. I'm glad we didn't get Rabiot. I am glad we pulled out the Rabiot deal because he was requesting high wages. But imagine your board is being spotted going to Barcelona and Turin to close a deal and couldn't close a deal. And one of the players they couldn't close a deal for was Adrian fucking Rabiot. I mean, honestly, if they should be sacked. The fact that whatever happens, if we don't get De Jong by the end of this transfer window, which is looking less and less likely, they need to be sacked. 100% need to be sacked. I'm telling you this now because imagine spending 16 weeks on Frankie De Jong, saying, "Nah, we're not going to get that player, we're going to get De Jong." Being spotted in Barcelona trying to get De Jong, wasting 16 weeks on De Jong, refusing to get Antony because you said we'll get him after De Jong, and then Antony's price doubles and then failing to get Antony. Imagine spending 16 weeks on a player that you can't get. Any other club would sack the board. And after this transfer window we've had, any other club has sat the ball, but the Glazers won't sat the ball because they're not spending any money at the moment. So the Glazers love it. It's awful how bad our board is, and they absolutely 100% need to be sacked. 100%. 30 years old for 60 million, I know we're overpaying as well. Absolutely overpaying. Stop covering transfers, who cares? Let's stay on the Glazers. Now, I agree. I think a lot of the transfer news is a PR spin, but we need to stay on the Glazers' neck as well. You can't get something that was never offered, said Effie. But look, honestly, let's have a look. Let's have a look at the news, guys. Let's have a look at the news quickly. But this club is a mess. Significant progress has been made with Casemiro to United, and United believe they can finalise the deal. This is what's come out. I'm just going to look at what's come out in the last sort of 10 minutes. Marseille are trying to sign Bailly, we know that. Casemiro to United looks like it's going to happen. Casemiro wants to join United, and he is a this guy is tier one. So basically, one of the best journalists in football has confirmed Casemiro wants to join United. And we never got this with Rabiot, we never got this with De Jong. We never had a source this reliable say De Jong wants to join United. We never had a source this reliable saying Rabiot wants to join United. One of the most reliable sources in football has come out and said Casemiro wants to join Manchester United, guys. So this is why I believe the deal will happen, because United want him, we're desperate. I mean, Real Madrid aren't going to say no to 60 million for a 30-year-old, and the player now wants to join as well. Reportedly, according to Jason Burt, The Telegraph, that Ten Hag has been shocked by United's performances and has prioritised the defensive midfielder and number 6 above anyone else. And it has been reported that now Casemiro has decided to join United as well. Jason Burt says, as well as Casemiro, United do want another midfielder, a versatile forward, a right back, and a backup goalie. Now, I don't mind us signing Casemiro, but as I've said, we need to find a good midfielder on the ball that can progress the ball forward, that can break the lines to play next to Casemiro. We need a good box-to-box. Ideal situation is Casemiro, De Jong, Gakpo, Antony, whoever we can get a right back and a brilliant goalie. That's never going to happen. But it is saying we do want another midfielder on top of Casemiro, and that we're not all out of De Jong yet as well. Pulisic is the Captain America and will play. Pulisic wants to come to United, but Chelsea apparently Pulisic wants to come to United, but apparently Chelsea say he can only go to United if he extends his contract as well. Chelsea reportedly in for Casemiro. Chelsea are just going in for everyone Man United are in for. Chelsea need to find their own targets as well. Casemiro is more of a negative outcome than a positive unless we continue to protest to lead the Glazers out. Guys, Casemiro, I think, is a decent signing that we're massively overpaying for, and I think it's a short-term signing that we shouldn't be doing it. I don't agree with us going for Casemiro, but he does massively improve us. But what I will say is just because we're signing Casemiro, do not let it distract you from the Glazers out protest. I want the Glazers out, to be honest. Ratcliffe is more passionate about United. Ratcliffe will be a brilliant owner for United as well. Ratcliffe is a big United fan. Ratcliffe actually said, I don't know why Man United are signing players like Fred and have still got Ollie and Charles. So Ratcliffe does have some absolute ambition as well. Casemiro for captain, honestly, we do need a captain. I think everyone can say that United is in desperate need of a captain, because Harry Maguire is not a captain. Honestly. But I'm telling you this now. Harry Maguire will stay as captain. I don't know if Casemiro is a captain, but we need to bring someone in that could be a captain as well. Casemiro is considering his options. He needs game time ahead of the World Cup and is tempted by Man United's proposal. Reportedly, because Tchouaméni has been signed, Casemiro wants, that game time from Manchester United as well. And that United are open for a loan of Eric Bailly. Do you know what's mad? Actually, I want to talk about quickly? I want to talk about this. So Wolves have sold Morgan Gibbs-White £45 million. Morgan Gibbs-White has been sold for £45 million. Yeah? He's a 22-year-old that had a decent spell in the Championship. He's 22, had a decent spell in the Championship, and they got £45 million for him. If Wolves can get £45 million for Gibbs-White, why can't we even get £5 million for Bailly? Why are we that? Because teams know United are desperate to get rid of players, and teams know they can mug us off and get them on loan. I mean, technically, I think it's a £25 million deal plus potential add-ons, but Nottingham and Forest are outspending United like mad. Nottingham and Forest spent nearly 200 million. And Casemiro comes and Fred out. No, Casemiro and Fred would play together if Casemiro came. Casemiro would play with Fred if he came. A lot of people don't realise that. But Casemiro and Fred actually have been very good together for Brazil. Very, very good together for Brazil, Casemiro and Fred as well. Make sure you smash that like button. Please do subscribe down below to Alice Talks Football if you're new, guys. We're on the road to 50,000 subscribers, so I just do want to throw out, if you're not subscribed to the channel, please do subscribe. I go live every single evening on the channel, keeping you guys up to date with all the latest Manchester United news, transfer news, updates, and more. And if you do want to stay up to date with all the news, make sure you're subscribed. I do watch-alongs, match reactions, match previews. We will be promoting the Glazers out movement as well. I want to get into some more news as well. I think Fred. Someone said Fred's paw will stop being used by Ten Hag. I think McTominay will stop being used. Look, I'm going to say this now. Ten Hag played Fred as a 6 versus Brentford. Fred is not a 6, and he never will be a 6. Fred had some good games under Rangnick when he was played as an 8. If you buy Casemiro as a 6, you can play Fred as an 8. Now, Fred as an 8 is a Premier League top half team level player. Fred as a 6 is a Championship player. Fred as an 8 is a good player. He's capable of playing for a top Premier League side as an 8. Not a top side, not a Man City, not a Liverpool, but a top half side. Fred as a 6 is a Championship player. McTominay is a Championship player. You bring Casemiro into play 6, Fred can play as an 8. Fred played as an 8 in those last few games under Rangnick, and Fred, De Gea and Ronaldo were the only good players under Rangnick. Casemiro and Fred played together for Brazil, and they're very good. McTominay will be fucked under Ten Hag because he's shit as an 8 and he's shit as a 6. But Fred, when he's playing with a good 6, is good as an 8. And Fred has been crap this season, but I'm telling you this now, and people will laugh. There is still a good player in Fred. And one of the reasons Fred has been shit at United is because he's been partnered with McTominay. Fred and Matic had some really good games together at one point. Fred is shit because he's partnered with McTominay. I'm telling you this now. Pogba is a good midfielder. He looks shit next to McTominay. Donny is a good midfielder. He'll look shit next to McTominay. Fred is an alright midfielder. He looks shit next to McTominay. Put them, I'll tell you this now. You could put Kevin De Bruyne in a midfield with McFred and he'd look shit. I'll tell you this now. Is Bruno a shit player? No. Is Eriksen a shit player? No. Is Donny a shit player? No. Why do they all look shit when they play in that 8-10 role? Because they've got McFred behind them. You change that midfield, literally one signing like Casemiro, top class DM goes in that midfield. Then you put Fred as an 8. And then you've got maybe Bruno or Eriksen in that more advanced role. Will look 10 times better because then we actually have a 6. We actually have a 6. And Fred is actually all right as an 8. He's an all right player as an 8. I'm not saying that Fred is the answer. Ideal situation, Casemiro, Frankie de Jong, bish, bash, bosh. Casemiro, Frankie de Jong, Eriksen midfield, fuck me, brilliant. Not going to happen. I've got some, it's not going to happen. That would be brilliant. But Casemiro is a 6. And I loved Frankie de Jong, and I want Frankie de Jong, but he is not a 6. And Frankie de Jong is a better investment than Casemiro because Casemiro is 30, we're massively overpaying, and he's past his best. But it's a 6. And a 6 means that Fred can play in his best position, Donny can play in his best position, and we can get the best out of them. And that is the real positive as well. Casemiro is world class. We should change formation to a 4-3-3. Should we look at how we play with Casemiro? Let's look at how we play with Casemiro, guys. So if Manchester United signed Casemiro, I think we would move to a 4-3-3. And we'd have Casemiro here. Okay. Let's have a look at how we'll play if we get all our deals done. So Casemiro is there. We've got Sancho on the right-hand side. We've got, I think Fred would play as the box-to-box because Fred and Casemiro do play together for Brazil. I think we would see something like this. I still think, I know people are frustrated with Bruno, but I still think he would play ahead of Eriksen just because I think whoever plays in that role with McFred behind them is going to look shit. But that's your midfield. You've got Fred and you've got Donny, and then Casemiro's backup I guess would be Scott because we're selling Ghana. That's our midfield. Casemiro, Fred, Bruno. I think it's a decent midfield. I think Ronaldo at striker. I think Ronaldo's going to leave, guys. Ronaldo's basically hinted that he's leaving. And it could be going to Borussia Dortmund. I will get into that news. You've got you've got Rashford, and I guess you've got Martial that can also play on the left. And then I'll say that Sancho's backup can go as Garnacho because I don't think Alanga's good enough. We've got Shaw and Malacia. I hope Malacia plays over Shaw. I'm telling you this now. Luke Shaw better be dropped. Luke Shaw better be dropped. I'm going to put question mark in here because I think we're going to buy a right back. David De Gea in goal. Reportedly, it's going to be Martinez and Varane. Reportedly, Varane is going to play versus Liverpool, by the way, with Maguire as backup and Lindelof here. Okay, I'm not saying that this is a good side because it's obviously not a good side, but Casemiro does instantly lift that. Casemiro, Donny, Ericsson midfield is much better than McFred and Bruno, and anyone with eyes can say that. This team does look a lot better with Casemiro in. Is he my first choice? No. Are we overpaying? Yes. But, you know, Man United don't have a 6. We don't have a 6. And any good 6 just completely transforms this side. Because Man City, whenever they play without Rodri or Fernandinho, are crap. Because Rodri's their 6, Fernandinho's their 6. If you want to play the kind of football Ten Hag wants to play, you do need a good 6. You do. You need someone that can do that role. You can't play Ten Hag ball when you've got players like McFred in midfield. Because they're not good enough. McFred are good if you want to sit back and play counter-attacking football, but that's what mid-table sides do, not what winning teams do. So I do think that, you know, you bring Casemiro in, and Fred will be a better player, and Donny will be a better player, and Bruno will be a better player. I will say that as well. I'm just trying to look at the positives. Captain Maguire is set to be dropped versus Liverpool as well, according to reports. People say get rid of Rashford. We don't have the depth to get rid of Rashford, and look, there's still a good player in Rashford. Whether we'll see it at United again, I'm not sure. Casemiro and Fred only work because of Brazil's depth. Defensively, have Marquinhos and Desire. Yeah, I do agree. They've got really good players around them. I do agree. We don't have that good of players around them as well. Ragnick is 100% right. Man United has too much deadwood. Ragnick said we need 8 to 9 players to fix up. Ragnick's spot on and he got a sack for it. Everyone knows when Ragnick said that this squad needed open heart surgery, we need 10 out, 10 in. Everyone knows that Ragnick hit the nail on the head. He was spot on. Because we do. But unfortunately, the board don't operate like that. We can't even, you know, Wolves are getting 40 plus million for Gibbs White, and we can't even get, we value James Garner at 10 million. We don't know 15 million. Man United are going to get 14, 15 million for James Garner, that was brilliant in the Championship, but Wolves can get 45 million for Morgan Gibbs White, that's brilliant in the Championship. United just, everyone knows that United are mugs in the transfer window, so they know they can underpay for our players and we'll overpay for their players because we've got stupid people doing transfer business. If you're a rival club and you see John Murta trying to go to Turin and Barcelona and still didn't come back Rabiot and De Jong, you just think that board's useless, but you can take advantage of them. They're rubbish. Absolutely rubbish. Apparently, Casemiro has said that he would like to join United, and now Real Madrid just waiting for United to make a formal offer, which is believed to be £59 million, which will be accepted. The situation going on right now is that Casemiro wants to join United. United now know that. United are set to make a £59 million offer to Real Madrid, and that Real Madrid will accept as well, honestly. Someone tweeted, I would love to see us try using Fred alongside Casemiro. He might be inconsistent and erratic technicality-wise, but he's utilised as an 8 and he offers off-the-ball third-man runs and a combination of late arrivals in the box, chance creation, his work rate could be quite valuable, which I agree with. I think Fred will be a good player next to Casemiro as well. If Gibbs White is 44 million, then Casemiro should be 500 million. We're getting him for 60 million. Unreal business. It says trade, just taking the piss. But I will have to say, how the fuck is Gibbs White 44 million pounds? I don't know. Honestly. No to Gakpo, Beta, Sancho. We need depth and attack. Do you want Elanga coming off the bench or do you want Gakpo coming off the bench? That's my question as well. I think Casemiro we're overpaying for. I think he's past it, but he instantly improves that team. And you'd be an idiot to say he doesn't as well. Because he's a brilliant out-and-out 6 as well. Most players hide when CR7 is playing. You know what I hate? I hate all this blame on Ronaldo. I hate all this negative media attention towards Ronaldo. I hate the fact that everyone is trying to blame Ronaldo for all the issues at United. And it's very obvious. If Ronaldo leaves, Man United is still going to have 55 gazillion million issues. Because people can paint Ronaldo out to be a villain. And I think Ronaldo, the way he's gone about wanting to leave, I just think he's not gone about it in the most respectful way. But, you know, last season when players were leaking stuff, when players were refusing to show up to training, when players were throwing Ragnick under the bus, when players were having strops. Last season when it was an absolute shit show, players fucking about, players being really disrespectful. When it was an absolute shit show last season, fake injuries, no one listening, no one running. Ronaldo was there working hard week in, week out, trying his best week in, week out, playing well week in, week out. And you can never tell me Ronaldo's the issue at United when he was performing when 99% of the team weren't. And there was leaks going on. You can say, even if Ronaldo leaves, you still got all those players that were core to our worst season ever. And people wondering why we're losing to Brighton and Brentford. Well, basically the whole core of the squad that was responsible for our worst season ever is going to be here next season because the board haven't brought in new players and haven't sold them. So no, people wondering why we're in for a bad season. Well, we've still got the shit players that were here last season. That's why we're in for a bad season as well. Don't fall for United side. I think it's more important to get the Glazers out. I absolutely agree as well. Absolutely agree with that as well. Ronaldo to Borussia Dortmund. We will quickly talk about that in a second. Reportedly, Ronaldo could be off to Borussia Dortmund as well. Honestly, Ronaldo doesn't deserve this type of treatment. He's one of the legends of the club. It's just shameful. I agree. And I think a lot of it is the Glazers trying to shift the media attention away from them and trying to get fans to turn on Ronaldo as well. Hopefully, Frankie de Jong and Casemiro, but most importantly, Glazers out and Jim Ratcliffe in. Comment of the day from JJ Beans. Absolutely spot on. I agree with you there as well. Give one bumper wages, the rest want bumper wages. So Man United need to be careful with Casemiro because everyone wants big wages as Red Star. I agree as well. Martinez is the only player on that team that I will play, so that's cool. What are your thoughts on putting Martinez in midfield? I think he's still a centre-back, despite what people are saying as well. Let's dive into a little bit more news. Christian Pulisic does want to come to Manchester United, guys. It has been reported that Christian Pulisic is very much open to a move to Manchester United and would like to. However, Chelsea only Pulisic can only come if he extends his deal. So basically saying that Pulisic has got to sign a new contract so his value will go up in case he has a good loan spell at Manchester United. Wise, what would your thoughts be on Christian Pulisic? On loan, because we can't get Antony, it's not the end of the world, but I think it's embarrassing and it just shows the lack of preparation. He's very injury prone. He does improve us, but he wasn't one of our first 5 options as well. James Robson has just come out and said the move for Casemiro is expected to spark a flurry of activity from Manchester United in the final few days of the transfer window. As Ten Hag would like 2 midfielders with Brighton's Moises Caicedo also being of interest. Reportedly, according to James Robson, United could be signing Moises Caicedo on top of Casemiro. And I think if that is the case, then we can know for sure that De Jong is off. I think if we get Casemiro, I think it means that De Jong is off, and I think we will get Casemiro, unless this is a play to get De Jong to hurry up and agree to join United because they actually think we're out of the race for him because we signed Casemiro. I don't know, but reportedly, once we get Casemiro, we're going to move in for Moises Caicedo, and I always say this now: we need 2 midfielders. We need 2 midfielders, not 1. Look, an injury to Casemiro. Look, we signed Casemiro, cool, but an injury to Casemiro, and we're back to McFred. So yeah. We exactly need 2 midfielders as well. No matter what happens, we need 2 midfielders as well. Cristiano Ronaldo feels that Manchester United players are being punished for their poor start to the season using harsh school teacher-like tactics. And one source described Erik ten Hag's style as just reacting to naughty kids who's misbehaved. And apparently that's how Ronaldo feels. It's a Justin Malik coming out as well, but I think that's the club trying to get to turn on Ronaldo. We wasted the whole window on Frankie de Jong, I know, and the board should be sat for that. The board should 100% for that. Apparently, we're in talks to sign Milinkovic-Savic. I still think it's PR spin. I think Milinkovic-Savic and Casemiro is a good midfield because Milinkovic-Savic is a good 8. But I do think it's a PR spin as well. Antony for 80 million would be a waste of money. I do agree. I like Antony. I would like him. But yeah, Pulisic on loan so we don't overpay for Antony is not the worst case scenario. But I've lowered my standards because this transfer window has been so bad. I'm lowering my standards of the type of players I've accepted at United. At the beginning of the window, I'd say fuck off to Pulisic. Now I'd be like, I'll take him, which I shouldn't be doing. I shouldn't be lowering my standards. We shouldn't even be with McFred, Garner and Donny both better. I agree. No, I don't know if Garner and Donny are better than McFred, but McFred have had enough chances and we know that McFred are not good enough. And when you've had that many chances under that many managers, I think you need to move on and give someone else a go. I say this now, Mikel Arteta gave Pepe multiple chances, wasn't good enough. Pepe was 72 million, record signing. Multiple chances wasn't good enough. Gave Martinelli a go, and Martinelli's miles better than now. And Arsenal look a lot better. Arsenal look so much better for getting rid of Aubameyang, getting rid of Pepe, who were their main players a few seasons before because they were performing bad, and Nketiah just fought Smith Rowe, just fought Martinelli. And that's what United need to do. McFred were core to our worst ever season. McFred have been crap again this season. Let's play Garner and Donny. We don't know if they're good enough, but they can't be much worse than McFred. I mean, can they even be worse than McFred as well? Glazers will give everything now just to eyewash fans away. I hope this won't happen again. Exactly. The Glazers are probably going to go all out to distract us. You're absolutely right. Chelsea don't want Pulisic to go to United. They want him to go to abroad. They do. But surely Chelsea would want him to do well in the Premier League because he did well in... What? He wasn't even that good for Dortmund. Sancho was really good for Dortmund. I think Sancho's been disappointing, but I never thought Pulisic was that good for Dortmund. I'll tell you this now, the Glazers will probably like Pulisic because he's American and it lifts the American fan base because he's captain of America. You know, the thing is, if United signs Son, the whole of not North Korea, the whole of South Korea starts supporting United because South Korea's Son, Heung-min crazy. And it's like that with America. They're all Pulisic crazy. So it's a bit of a commercial signing as well. I mean, I'd like us to sign Son. I wouldn't be complaining if we're signing Son for commercial reasons, even though he's about, oh, it's fucking Son. But, you know, you get what I'm saying, guys. The Athletic say that Casemiro is United's main target, but we could potentially getting Casemiro potentially means there's no more De Jong, which, yeah, honestly. Casemiro is giving me Di Maria and Sanchez vibes. He could be. I will say this. I think Casemiro is exactly what we need in terms of he's the position we need, and he's a good player that walks straight into that midfield. But at 30 for high wages, you know, Sanchez came in, was brilliant at Arsenal, came in, flopped at United. It's a massive risk for someone. If he was 27, I'd be all over it. If he was 26, 27, I'd be like, brilliant. But he is 30, and the wages are high, and it could be a Di Maria. It could be United going wrong again. But I'm willing to take that risk because anything to see McFred in midfield. No matter who United sign, the protest must continue. The only signature that matters right now is Sir Jim, says Rob. Exactly, Rob, you're absolutely spot on. Look, we could sign De Jong, we could sign Casemiro, and we could even sign bloody Neymar. And I would still sit here and go, I don't care. Glazers out. And that's what the focus needs to be. Because this is the best time to get the Glazers out. As long as us fan bases unite, that no matter who we sell, no matter if the results get good, we still continue the Glazers out message. And I'm telling you this, guys, just don't buy a shirt. Do not buy a shirt. I'm telling you this now. Go and get some fakes. I'm telling you this now. Just do not give United any of your money. Do not. And you know what? If you can find a way to make sure the Glazers make less money on their other businesses, do that. Because it's all about, the only way the Glazers are going to sell United is if they can make less profit from us. And that's what we need to do as well. We need a left-footed winner on the right flank. I do agree. But yeah, look, I'm going to wrap up the live stream in a second, guys. So make sure you do smash that like button and make sure you subscribe down below if you're new. What I will do is, my eyes really freaking hurt. I'm telling you that now. They're really blurry today. It must be the Glazers. They're punishing me for saying Glazers out. But what I was going to say, guys, is I'm going to end the live stream here. But if there's any breaking news or big news that comes out, I will do a short video tonight. There could be a video out 9, 10 o'clock UK time tonight if any breaking news comes out, because I think we are going to sign quite a few players in the next few weeks. There's going to be a lot of news stories coming out in the next few weeks. So make sure you subscribe if you do want to stay up to date with all the latest Manchester United news, transfer news, and more. I will be back live tomorrow. There will be a video out tomorrow, and I will be live tomorrow. I will be live Sunday, and I will of course be live Monday for the protest / United Liverpool game if it goes ahead. So make sure you subscribe for all the content. Big up everybody that tuned into today's video as well. And honestly, Glazers out, guys. Just continue on Glazers out. Big up everybody in the chat. See you next time, and bye.